Yeah.
That's real good.
Hey, everybody, welcome. We're so excited you're here. It's the last class, last webinar class, sorry, last webinar. April 18th at 6 o'clock. Hi, guys.
Awesome, welcome. All right, everyone. So this is, we got some other one heading in. As we mentioned, the last webinar in 2 weeks, we're officially starting the relationship program. We're very excited about that. But we're going to start this container as we have been before with some breath, just to get us grounded, get us connected to the body. And we're going to do exactly what we did before, just a couple of rounds of conscious connected breathing. So a nice deep breath in through your mouth, filling up your lungs to about 80% or more, and then just relaxing as you exhale. And just honor what feels right for you. If you feel like you want to breathe deeply, do so. If you want to breathe lightly, there's no wrong or right way to do this. Just listen to your body and tune in to the sensations. Alrighty. So I invite you to gently close your eyes. I'm going to mute some people here. I'm just going to mute everyone, so don't take offense if I mute you. Beautiful. All right, everybody, find a comfortable seat. Close your beautiful eyes. Before we start to breathe, take a couple of deep breaths in sighs just to cleanse the body, cleanse the space. So take a nice deep breath in. And a big exhale, just let it go. Really nice. And then again, let's take a nice deep breath in all the way up. Then a big exhale, just relax. Really good. One more time. Nice deep breath in all the way, as deep as you can. Then exhale, make a sound this time. Really good. Keeping your eyes closed. Imagine that your energy now is just moving down into the body, taking the seat of the observer. Just allow the breath to do the work here. Allow yourself to receive the sensations of your breathing and the shift in energy, the grounding that it provides. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath in through your mouth. Exhale, relax. Here we go together. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Full breath in. Relax. Nice deep breath. Let it go. Fully in. And relax. Deep breath. Relax out. Full breath in. And then let it drop. Now just keep with that rhythm. Nice deep breaths in, relaxing exhales out. Try to have no pause between your inhale and exhale. For this first round, just focus on the wave, the quality of your breathing, the things that we may not pay attention to while we're busy, the expansion of your chest, the moving of your ribs, maybe even feeling the breath in your lower back and your pelvis, and coming into recognition of the massage that you're providing to your organs as you breathe. And come into recognition now of every turning breath that is bringing you a little deeper into a state of centeredness, of calm, and also focus and clarity. Every passing moment, feeling that more and more. Really beautiful, everyone. Amazing breathing. Final few breaths here before our first retention. An invitation, if you'd like to make these next few breaths a bit deeper, a bit bolder, to activate your body a bit more, you can do so right now. Really amazing. I invite you now to exhale out and finish your next breath. Then take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax, let it go, and then hold your breath after the exhale. So holding your breath with your lungs gently empty, doing your best to be still. focus on your body. And just enjoying this moment of being. Pause in between breaths. And then we'll breathe again in 3, in 2, in 1. Take a nice deep full breath in all the way up. And as you breathe in, hold your breath at the top. Feel yourself full with this life force, with this love, this beauty. Maybe put a smile on the face and hold it for 3, 2, 1. Big exhale, relax. Really good. Keep your eyes closed. Keep feeling, offering your attention to your body as we move into the second round, cultivating more of this sensation. So I invite you to again, take a deep breath in through your mouth. Exhale, relax. Let's breathe as 1. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Full breath in. Relax. Deep breath. Letting go. Full deep breath in. Relax. Deep breath. And just letting it drop. And now keep it going. You know what to do here. Finding your rhythm, continuing with it. And for this round, tuning in to all those beautiful sensations that arise when we breathe in this continuous fashion. Opening yourself up to the tingling, the vibration, the shifts. Coming into understanding that you are consciously shifting the state of your body. Bringing in that rich oxygen, that life force, that prana, that love to every tissue, every organ, every cell. For this last minute, just allow yourself the permission to get a little lost in your own rhythm, offering undivided attention and love to the breath. Something so simple yet profound, something we do every day, but now doing it with your awareness, with intention. The final few breaths here, making these breaths really present, maybe a bit deeper if that feels good for you. And then finishing your next breath, exhale out, just let it go. Then take a nice deep breath in all the way up. Exhale, relax, and then hold your breath again after the exhale. And as you hold your breath, find that place of peace, quiet, and yet of power and strength. Coming into the place of truth, the place of being, place of awareness, a place of becoming. Holding just a little bit longer. We'll breathe again in 3, in 2, in 1. Take a nice deep breath in all the way up. Hold your breath at the top one last time, feeling that full, beautiful sensation throughout your whole body. Holding it for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, relax, let it go. Very good job, everyone. Keep your eyes closed just for a moment. Take a moment to feel into the shift, to really honor the body. And as we've done before in previous sessions, just tuning into your own energy, asking yourself how you want to show up, what you want to offer to this container, what you hope to receive. And remembering that your contribution here is important, that it matters. You're here for a reason. It is no accident, it is no coincidence. There are no things that happen in life by chance. Every effect has a cause. Trust that your being here, whether you share or observe, whatever your part, is essential. Know that you're welcome, and we are so honored to have you here. When you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. Thank you, everyone. Hope you're feeling a bit more grounded and centered.
Thank you, Brian. Always magical. All right, everybody. Today, we are talking to breaking the bonds of trauma cycles or trauma bonding. And so welcome to our third episode in our webinar series, our free webinar series. So what is trauma bonding? What is it? Trauma bonding is an intense emotional attachment that forms in abusive or highly stressful situations or relationships. It occurs when a victim of abuse or trauma forms a strong bond with their abuser or the source of their trauma in a way to cope and survive. And so one thing that's important to know is that we can have these types of trauma bonds with family, with work colleagues, with brothers, with friends. And today, of course, we're talking within the most popular one, which is the context of romantic relationships and partnerships. And so what can happen is these bonds can be difficult to break, because what happens is they actually cause the victim to seek out and maintain the relationships with the person that is causing them the trauma or the harm. Now, in our past episodes, we have talked largely about childhood and what made us the way that made us. And this happened to me. Now I have this attachment style. If this is your first one that you're catching, or if you're watching this one before you watch the others, I highly recommend you watch episode 1 and episode 2. It does lead up to the conversation we're going to have today. And so what I really want to get at today is we're going to be talking about prevention, recognition, and then actually exiting the trauma bonding experience with grace. Because we all have these problems. We all have these trauma bonds. We all had a childhood that caused us to form some sort of a trauma bonding motif with our partners or with other types of people. We all have them, exactly. So just show of hands or drop some numbers in the chat or whatever you want to do. You can say me too, so we all can see this. It's like, anyone here done something in a relationship over and over again in regards to another partner that was damaging to both themselves and the partner? Raise your hand. Megan had her yep ready. She's like, whatever it is, yes. So as always, doing this just to show that we all are in this together. And this is going to tie into the 3 topics that we're covering. I'm going to be doing introductions on each of them, and then Brian is going to lead us through an embodiment practice. I'm going to lead us through an embodiment practice, and Divi's going to lead us through an embodiment practice. So again, prevention, recognition, and then exiting these moments with grace. With all of this, it comes down to awareness. We spoke about this on our past ones. Awareness, awareness, awareness. You need to know thyself if you want to have a chance of controlling or maneuvering through and out of these trauma cycles and these trauma bonds. Now, in regards to prevention, recognition, and exiting with grace, there's 3 of our favorite things that come up with those, and this is fear, shame, and guilt. So what's the correlation here? When we're thinking about preventing, right? Beware of fear, because while proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. We need to prepare for things. Over preparing is just a mask for irrational fear. When it comes to, and I'll recount these again, but when it comes to recognition, beware of shame, especially after we have equipped you today with the tools. It's dangerous to get into the thought process of, oh, I know better, right? Like here's how to not do this. And then you go and you do it. And you go, oh my goodness, I knew this. Now I feel shamed. And while it is correct, right? We're all not perfect. And this is just tools. And it takes practice, 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 practice. And again, I remember I will come back to this. When it comes to exiting with grace, we want to beware of guilt. Guilt for the harm that we have caused ourselves and our partner for continuing into these trauma bonding experiences. Okay, so we're going to start here right away. I've got a lot of great stuff ready for you guys today, and then I'll pass it over to Brian. So to prevent entering into the cycle of trauma bonding with your partner and avoiding toxic behaviors, it's important to establish healthy boundaries and communication, which we've talked about, from the beginning of the relationship. This includes clearly expressing your needs and expectations and actively listening to your partner's concerns. It's essential to be aware of these types of red flags, both in yourself and with your partner, such as manipulative or controlling behaviors, and address them early on. Again, both in yourself and in your partner. Building a foundation of trust, respect, and mutual support is crucial to prevent trauma bonding. And additionally, super important, which we've also talked about, is prioritizing self-care and self-awareness. This helps you maintain a healthy sense of self and knowing which boundaries to establish. So I'm going to pass this over to Brian. Thank you so much, everybody. This is going to be prevention and being aware of fear.
Amazing, Matthew. Thank you so. Amazing, Matthew. Thank you so much. Alrighty. So for prevention, prior to me going into this practice of embodiment or of transforming and alchemization, I just want to mention that the fear that we can have around facing a triggering situation with a partner is very real. You know, we no one wants that. You know, that's no one wants to face that. We all know what it feels like. But in order for us to find love in that, we must kind of accept that there are certain things that are out of our control. And rather, instead of trying our best to just make sure that doesn't happen, rather inviting in the knowing, the love that we have the ability to address that and to come forward with grace, with love, with compassion. So I want to guide you all through a bit of an internal experience of that, calling in, like a higher power or a higher connection in that kind of scenario. So just keep that in mind. So what I'll invite you to do is just close your eyes. We're just going to get connected to the body, get connected to the heart here. So take a couple of cleansing breaths. And if you'd like, if it feels appropriate, give your heart a little tap lightly with the finger to bring your awareness into your heart, and imagine that your awareness, your consciousness is really descending into the heart space. Know that your heart has neuronal cells, so that it has this ability to intuit, to comprehend. You can even say to yourself, I'm safe in my body. I trust my heart. I trust my heart space. And you can continue to tap for as long as feels right for you, or if any of this becomes a little too intense, we are gonna invite some maybe not so comfortable feelings here. This is how we alchemize. So in the heart space, the sacred space, the safe space, I want you to bring up a memory of the rising of a trigger with a romantic partner. We all know what it feels like coming into that situation where there's miscommunication, misalignment, the body is enraged. We just start to feel that rise. Feel it in your body now, probably coming in. Remember, you're in the heart space. You're in a place of awareness. And see if at that memory you can remember what happened, your actions, what you did, maybe pulling away or instigating. If you're like me, you're an anxious person, you keep prying. Perhaps you turn into yourself. See that past memory with so much compassion, so much love. Let yourself feel it. And then start to call in your highest, the version of you that has come through every obstacle, the version of you that has succeeded in every path. This can be a version of you, or it can be a deity, it can be an angel guide. Calling in that high version, you'll start to feel that opening in the chest. Now see them act in this situation. What do they say? What is their demeanor? How do they feel? And start to see yourself speaking in this way, yourself merging in this way, acting in this way. If you're having trouble with this, what I see in my mind is I see myself taking a deeper breath, feeling the wave of the trigger, seeing that in my partner, inviting in the compassion and love, and deciding to stay present, to understand that they are hurt and that I am hurt, and that this is a beautiful opportunity, an amazing opportunity to find deeper connection, healing, understanding. Now, for a brief moment, I'm just going to allow your higher self to communicate and just see what's there. Stay very open. Be in a state of receiving. You might hear a word. You might see something. You might feel something. Ask for that divine insight for a moment. How can I step in my highest when I know that I'm getting triggered? It might just be a nice feeling. Oftentimes, the higher self just likes to remind us how much we are loved. Beautiful. Keep holding that inside of yourself. Keep holding it. I see some smiles. This is beautiful. This is the work right here. Feeling that shift now. Remember again how you felt at the beginning, that discomfort. The body remembers that trigger. And how you are establishing the switch, the alchemical process right now, right here. You can start to feel the body shift. And start to feel yourself offering yourself this insight. And even if the discomfort is still there, that's okay. Whatever is occurring is part of your process. Remember that we are in a container where only the highest is appropriate, only that which is within divine order and nature is allowed. Calling that in for yourself, letting it really come in, letting the healing be there. And if anything, remembering that inevitably when you come to face that situation again, you have the tools. Can you call that in now? I have the resources. I have the ability. I have the space. And then starting to feel or inviting in this releasing of trying to avoid that, the fear of that coming about. I don't need to be afraid of these triggers. I don't need to be afraid of this anymore. I have all of the love. I have the love of the universe within me. I will know exactly what to do in that moment. I trust myself. Beautiful. Now just take a moment, keep feeling into your heart space. Just allow. Before we exit, just reminding you, the mind may question, it may assess, it may wonder what the heck is going on here, but the body knows, the heart knows, and you know ultimately you're connected to that wisdom, to that feeling. Thank you for feeling. Thank you for being here. Thank yourself. Thank your body. Thank your heart. And then take a few breaths just to slowly come out of the heart space. To come fully back into this moment, come fully back into the present. Feeling comfortable, feeling safe. And let's just take one nice deep breath in together. Big exhale, just make a sound, drop that energy. Really nice. And when you feel ready, you can gently open those beautiful eyes again. Thank you everyone for going there with me. I know that was there's some powerful energy move there. Yeah, are we still on time here, Matt?
Yeah, we are. We're slightly ahead of time actually, and so I'd like to invite people to share what came up in the chat if you feel so called. And
I
we
was gonna say the
have
same thing.
a few minutes. We have 4 minutes until we're going to move on to recognition.
Yeah. So if
Awesome,
anyone-
Brian.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, if anyone would like to share, again, not just this, I'll sound like a broken record, but as we share this experience, we each have a very unique perspective of the experience. Think of that as beautiful information that helps everyone else further understand their process. So, yeah, if you had a deep process there, or you feel an inclination to share, it's so welcome. It's a gift.
I can share.
Absolutely.
I felt the thumping was releasing a lot, and then it felt like I connected it to the heart, the throat chakra, and it was like, ooh, the energy kind of got stuck, which is a typical pattern somatically. So that was really interesting. And then eventually it kind of like sort of dissipated, and yeah. And then the prompt that I thought in my head was to ask more questions so that I get what I need to like calm my nerves, instead of like not asking questions. And then that's why the throat chakra is locked.
Thank you, Selena. Thanks so much for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Amazing. We got some good shares in the chat as well. Thank you for those you're sharing. Thank you, Divi. Wow, yeah, that's beautiful. Would anyone else like to verbally share? I have like a minute or so more here.
Right.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, everyone, again. I really do appreciate your bravery. I know this feeling is intense. It's intense to feel the waves, but it really, yeah, I felt all of you, really show up for that. So thank you for just really being present and showing up fully. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, Brian. Okay, we're going to move on to recognition. Oh, there we go. Here they come through. Initially, when recalling situations, felt my body freeze. That's the fear response. Able to release it, to not react. I saw light and thought love. That's really good. That's really, really good. That's the medicine for all of this, by the way. For fear, shame, guilt, it's just love. It's just love. It's love. That's the medicine. Don't have to react. That's nice. Couldn't help but smile through the guided process. Felt relieving and uplifting. Constriction when I put myself into the triggering situation, then a huge wave of relief. Amazing. Such an amazing thing. Like a lot of these, again, with our past episode, like Sarah, we talked about like these it's post-traumatic stress to some level. When Brian's like, hey, go into that situation that like really hurt you that time, and you go in there. And so we have this like fear response, and the way to alchemize it is by going directly into it. And so this is like really, really amazing. Thanks for sharing all of this.
Just really quickly on that you mentioned that, I think it's important to distinguish the body's reality and the universal reality. And we'll probably talk about this again, but when we get triggered, your body is quite literally like, I'm going to die. And that's why it's so intense, because your body's like, I'm going to die. And the way we transcend that is through going to it again and realizing that what is love? Love is eternal. It is infinite. It is ever pervading and ever existing. And when we go to those places and we feel that wave and we still exist, which we do, we get to experience that love. We get to experience that energy, that infinite energy. So I think it's important to distinguish that. Of course, this body will eventually, recycle and do its thing, but your energy is infinite and forever. So, and we can step into those higher planes with this willingness that we just showed right here, to step into the body's fear of perceived death and be like, no, I'm not afraid of that. Actually, I want to transcend, and transcendence isn't pushing away. It's diving in. It's diving into the process.
That's nice. I like that. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for adding that. That was really nice. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a heart as well. Thank you. Okay. Recognition. And so recognition and prevention are, of course, hand in hand, just like prevention, recognition, and then exiting these situations with grace are hand in hand. And so we were aware, it was quite prevalent from all your responses, how fear was quite relevant, quite present during that practice. And so I'm going to remind you that when it comes to recognition, what we want to keep an eye on is shame. Again, especially after we have equipped you with these tools, it's dangerous to be in the I know better attitude. While it is correct, we're not perfect, and forgiveness is the key. It's a process. So an effective strategy to practicing mindfulness and paying attention to our thoughts. And this is not just as we go through our day-to-day life. Again, this is what self-awareness is. It's observing our thoughts as we move through day-to-day. What's important is to notice behaviors in yourself that you're doing and in others that are harmful, such as manipulation, being controlling, or emotional reactivity. Anyone done those things? Anyone like tried to control their partner before because their partner was doing things that hurt them? Right? Raise your hand. Partner did something that hurt me and now I'm trying to control them. Yep. Seems like the math would add up for that. Super important thing for all of this, especially the recognition key. And I'm going to take you guys through a guided process because I've some people here have actually witnessed me get into a emotionally reactive state, and I'm able to recognize and catch it. And I'm able to do it by tuning into my body. And so I'm super happy that you opened up with that practice, Brian, because it goes perfect into how I've been able to do this in real time. I'm like in the midst of harming people I love, and I catch it in the moment, regulate myself down, and I can actually explain to people what's going on. And so the key to this is being honest with yourself and taking accountability over your actions without self-judgment or denial. What does this mean? It means that you're not failing, you're learning. So when I go into these moments and I make the mistake of harming people that I love because I'm being reactive, it's just my child coming out, just my inner child coming out. And so remember that awareness is the first step to change. And once you recognize that you are engaging in these toxic behaviors, pause, take a breath, and consciously choose to respond differently. I'm going to take everyone through a practice here that I do quite often, and that I have proven to be highly successful for when you're in the heat. It's too late. You didn't prevent it. You're in the heat now. You're doing some things that your highest self is going no, and your lowest self is going while you're in there causing fire and flames and swearing at your person and probably swearing at yourself. And the building's getting burnt down, and you're like, wait a minute, I love this building. I love this person, and I'm burning them to the ground right now. I want to stop. Okay, so I'm going to run you guys through a practice now. So again, we're going to close our eyes. We're going to get comfortable, and we're going to focus on some deep breaths. We're not going to be tapping this time, but we are going to be tuning into that space just below your heart, between the solar plexus and the heart. That little part there that when you get caught doing something you shouldn't be doing gets tight. When you feel guilty or shame or fear, it gets tight. You know that feeling, you feel that in there. By feeling this tightness in this space, this is actually how I've personally been able to recognize that I'm having an amygdala hijack, that I'm in a high beta brainwave, that I am in the middle of a trauma bonding cycle. So take some big, deep breaths. Bring as much air into your lower lungs as you can. Feel into that space. We're going to bring awareness into that space. What we're going to do is we're going to drop into a memory of when you were in a toxic instance with your partner. You know what your tendencies are. Maybe you were trying to avoid. They were coming to you, please show me love, and you were pushing them away. Maybe you were trying to pry. They were saying, I need space, and you were prying, and that led to a fight. Think about this moment and really remember what you did. Really feel into how it hurt you. And that feeling of you hurting your person. Feel into that. Take a big breath into that. And feel that. releasing shame, releasing guilt, releasing fear. This is an awareness tool. Can you feel this inside of your body? Remember this feeling, because this is the feeling that you will be able to feel and catch yourself in the heat of the moment. We're doing a visualization exercise right now. Like a professional Olympic diver picturing their perfect dive before they do it, the power of visualizing and living a moment cannot be understated. The brain actually doesn't know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what actually happens. That's why this hurts right now. We're going to go back to visualizing that moment that we were just in, but this time it's going to be one in the future, where our partner is acting up again in a way that would have triggered us, just like before, right? This is what they do. This is what happens. Just picture it. Okay. Picture this person doing that thing that triggers you. Maybe you didn't do anything wrong, but they think you did. That's fine. Just picture it. Now, everybody with me, exhale all the way. Big breath in all the way to the top. A little more. Hold it. You exhale, make a sound. We're going to do one more big breath all the way to the top. A little more. Picture that moment with your partner. Big exhale, make a big sound. Get it out, make a sound. Okay. Now picture this situation again. Your partner's acting up in a way that triggers you. They're attacking you. Only this time, we're going to hold space and love this person. Love them like you love them. Love them as if you loved them. Recognize that this is not an attack at you. It's just their inner child, maybe not feeling heard, maybe not feeling understood, maybe an irrational fear of betrayal. And in this moment, just hold them. Take accountability for what you have done to cause the trigger. Whether you did anything right or wrong is totally irrelevant. This person is feeling hurt by you, so just love them. Hold the space for them. Let them say what they need to say. And now visualize acting how you wish you did before. How are you going to handle this situation when it comes up next time? Just love them, calm them down, and enter into a productive and healing conversation with this person that you love. Picture that. Calming them down. You feel the space between your heart right now? Feel the difference? This is the power of an action of compassion. Compassion puts us in an alpha brainwave state. Compassion puts us in control. And compassion helps us move how we want to. By doing practices like this, you can properly prepare for the inevitable and stay grounded. So just breathe, hold your person while they're going through this, and recognize how quickly you can calm yourself down when you're in a fight or flight state. Let's do a little smile while we're breathing. We just made our person feel good. We feel good. We avoided the chaos, lit a fire, put the fire out. It's all going well now. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and return back to our container. Thank you all so much. Of course, we'd like to invite anyone to share. We have another 5 minutes again. And yeah, I want to thank you all for that. It was really super beautiful watching you guys go through that. Like, that was awesome.
Sarah and Xenia's hands are up.
Yeah, Sarah, or yeah, we'll do Sarah first. Yeah.
Hi, Xenia. So I had to kind of modify this a little bit. I'm not in a relationship currently, and the only really relationship that I could reference was a very narcissistically abusive relationship with my ex, who, did a lot of things inflammatory to trigger reactions from me. And, so I was constantly in a state of fight or flight, and usually in fighting. I went to war for 10 years, basically, is what happened. and it was not pretty, and it was very unhealthy, very toxic. So, I couldn't see myself embracing him, holding him, but I imagined myself like giving him a pillow and bringing him a glass of water and, that kind of thing.
It's amazing.
And I think one of the things that I frequently used as a justification for my bad behavior was all the ways that he had intentionally hurt me. Because, he did. He was very vindictive. And so it was like, well, if he can do that to me, well, then I can do this to him, kind of thing. Right?
Yeah.
So tit for tat. And so I tried to think about just, my side of the street, not worry about his side of the street, just my side of the street. So, and one of the things that would frequent, and it was passive aggressive on my part, was I was always late. Like when I pick up my son, we meet to exchange my son, I was always late, and I didn't like consciously say, oh, I'm going to be late just to piss him off, but
right. And that's the big part about this, right?
It was consistent. It's like, there's something to this.
That's the key.
Yeah. So
the key to recognition is taking accountability. And I love how you said it like that. You said my side of the street, not their side of the street. That's the recognition part in the heat. In the heat of the moment, it's being like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if this person is right or wrong right now, or if I'm right or wrong right now. The person I love is hurting. So just pause and step into that, like, being the bigger person type deal in this situation. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate it. And Xenia, we'll move on to you now. Thank you so much.
Hi. So my situation is close to Sarah's, but yes, it was kind of funny to listen. So basically, the situation that I replayed right now, it happened about 30 minutes before this call, because it's like, oh my God, wow. And I've been having so much progress with my ex. Like, we haven't been fighting for a month. We reached a financial settlement, huge, etc. But right now, so he's abroad, and he called to see our son, which I was glad to do. And then he started attacking me, asking very intrusively whether I was going to give him one adjustment in schedule that he wanted. And so he does it like that's his thing. Usually before that, I immediately get into a cave And before I started crying, like now I didn't do that, but usually that's what I did. And now I just started attacking him back, and then I shut him out. So that's what kind of, and now I kind of see, because before that I was like, oh my God, I'm so enraged right now for half an hour. But now I see, oh, I actually denied this person love in a way, because I just put my phone away here, like, okay, see your son, then like I'm not in this conversation anymore, bye-bye. Yeah, and here's my son. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, Xenia. Like, again, vulnerability is the currency of relationships, and props to you and Sarah for investing so much into these containers. It's really added so much to it. And it's also a perfect segue to our next point, which is, after you haven't prevented it and you have caught it ish, how do we exit with grace without feeling guilt? And this isn't just a guilt of like, oh, I've harmed this person. It is that, but it's also the guilt of going against your own morals. Like that's what a few of you, when we were going through the recognition and I brought you down into that place and you were like feeling it, some tears were coming. It's a combination of, I've hurt this person that I love, but also I'm not living into my highest self right now. I am failing to meet my own moral standards, and that hurts us. And so Jordan Peterson has the super fun thing that he does with his wife when they're fighting. If they both like reach past a certain decibel, they both get to a certain level of volume, they pause. They've been doing this for years. I think they've been married for 30 plus years. They pause and they go into another room by themselves and they ask themselves, how am I being stupid right now? And he said that has pretty much saved his marriage. And so because they go in, they sit down there, they just ask themselves that, and then God or whoever their highest self comes through and starts blasting them with answers, right? You'd be amazed when you sit and ask yourself that question. And so before I pass it off to Divi, again, with exiting with grace, the key, awareness, taking responsibility for how you're actually contributing to this, and then expressing genuine remorse towards causing the harm. Whether you're right or wrong in this moment, it doesn't matter. Sorry that you're feeling this way and that I've triggered in you. When you listen actively to their concerns and perspectives without interrupting, it goes a really, really long way. And something using I statements. We're going to be going into this a lot more during our actual Love, Trust, Trauma series on how to like properly navigate through all the beautiful chaos that comes with relationships. And one of the tools that we're going to be equipping you with is how to properly use I statements to express your feelings and your needs, and setting up these boundaries in a strategic way that is going to help with prevention, recognition, and maneuvering with grace. And so, with that being said, Divi, the floor is yours.
Well, I get to play with guilt. So guilt is one of those most common emotions that we feel. Like, we know better. I attended this LTT event and Jesus, they talked about it. And I'm in that trauma cycle like Xenia, I've stayed together for a long time. I should know better, right? And then we exit not with grace, but with guilt. Now, each of these emotions, Brian worked on fear, Matthew worked on shame, and I'm going to work on guilt. This is like the triad of emotions that keep us away from our divine. Now, like you guys all know from working with me in the past, work as an intuitive, and I use the word God a lot. And if you prefer the word universe, the divine source, change it. Guilt is the ultimate emotion that on some level we have left the divine. Just play with that for a second. Guilt is the idea that you in some way have done something wrong. I want you to imagine right now that that is impossible. It is the ego screaming at you like a little gerbil in your head, saying you've made a mistake, you're wrong, da-da-da-da-da. So on a scale of 1 to 10, type into the chat box, in your trauma cycles with your partner, how often do you go to guilt? Guilt that even during the fight, after the fight, just type it in, 1 to 100. How much do you go to guilt? Just type it in. How much do you do guilt? I should know better. My guides were telling me not to. I should, 98. Awesome. 97. So guilt is like that big, excuse my language, big ask, like thing on your heel, just dragging us along. So I believe to the core of my being that you marry these people that you have these trauma bonds with, whether it be your boss, your partner, your kid, because we are here to heal shame, fear, and guilt. So in this mini meditation I'm going to take you through, I want you to be open to the idea that you are the divine self. You are the God self. Eric, Marina, Xenia, Chantal, each of us are the same, universal law of one. And on top of that, take it a second deeper. What is inside of us is the energy that creates the entire world. You, Eric, you, Marina, the energy that's in you created the Grand Canyon. The energy that's in you, Xenia, created the mountains. That is in you. So in this meditation, we're going to see if we can tap into that and then explore, what does guilt feel like from that place? So go ahead and close your eyes. And take some deep, slow breaths in and out, so that your belly rises and your belly falls. With your eyes closed, this might sound a bit weird if you've never done this with me before, but bring in what's called your divine support team. That's your guides, your angels, and your ancestors. And their one role in your life is to love you unconditionally. So take about 10 or 20 slow, deep breaths in and let them in. You might see them, you might know them, you might feel them, you might even hear them, but you are loved to the moon and back. So stay here with your breath. Eyes closed, breathing. Now open to the mindset that which is inside of you, your God self, is the creator of the world. Now imagine that you hopped on an airplane with all of your guides, ancestors, and angels, and you're literally flying around the planet. And as you fly around the planet, you're looking out of the window seat, and you're in awe. You're passing over the mountains in Nepal, and you're looking down, and your heart swells, because there is a knowing that the divine within you that created those mountains, that is within you, you are that creator. Take those deep breaths. And now your plane goes a little bit further west and goes over Australia. And now you're looking down and you're seeing the beautiful, beautiful Ayers Rock. You're seeing the beautiful Great Barrier Reef. And you're in your awe of your perfection. You're the energy that created that. That which is in you, your God self. There you go. Is what created that. Keep breathing. Now take the airplane across Hawaii. You're looking out of the window and you're in awe of those beautiful islands, the gorgeous waters, the beauty that surrounds you. Go back there. That which is below you is in you. Take a few more breaths. And on our last trip, let's go over the Grand Canyon and see how magnificent it is, how wide and expansive. Even if you've never been there, use your imagination. You created that. The energy in you created that. The energy that made you you is the Grand Canyon. Take 10 or 20 breaths. Now try to stay here. Try to stay here in your mind's eye. This is who you are. And now to the corner of your other eye, become aware of that feeling of guilt. Can you see it? Can you feel the delta? Can you feel the gap? Which do you prefer? You can see in the expansiveness of who your God self is, there is not even the flicker of guilt. And open to your guides, your ancestors, your angels that are on this airplane with you. And for the next 5 breaths, receive from them what the message is. And it might be something simple, like you are only divine perfection. There is nothing as right or wrong. You are the beauty of the divine in you. And just hold that. The longer you receive these messages, the more you're going to become aware that the energy of guilt doesn't even exist. Stay in the big place, stay in the big place. Thank you. There you go. And keep breathing. Stay over the Grand Canyon. This is in you. Take 10 or 20 breaths. On the last part of this meditation, notice how guilt doesn't even belong here. You can't even say that word. It makes you foul in the taste of your mouth. Go back to your guides and receive all the love of the truth of who you are. The expansiveness that you've never done anything wrong. After a few more breaths, Rotate your shoulders, stretch your neck, open your arms, open your chest. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, coming back. After taking a few breaths, maybe you're still the Grand Canyon, which is totally cool. I'm curious, does anyone want to share how that was, how they feel, what came up for them? Did they get any messages from their guides? What did they notice? Keep breathing, because that's where the messages are. The messages are in your breath. Stay in your breath. Stay in your breath. As you're typing in your response, I heard you are resilient, Mara. Oh, you are. You're a rock star, resilient. Love that. I knew it. As you guys are typing in how that was for you, I want you to remember there's only two things: truth and love, and everything else. And the truth will set you free. It's about finding that space and knowing the truth that I am the divine, of the divine, for the divine. Andy wrote in, you tried your best even if you didn't feel like it. That's amazing. That's amazing. And holding that you tried your best. You are all beauty and wonder of the universe. Sarah, now you're talking, sister. You take that into your body. And if each of us took in these messages into our bodies, you are love. You are beauty like this land. You see that, how that GUILT word, that fear, that shame that Brian and Matt talked about, don't even exist. And if every one of us took what Sarah wrote, you are the beauty and wonder of the universe, and believe that it took us into our energy field every single day. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love that. You are love. Thank you, Marina. Awesome work, guys. I'm going to hand it back to Matt, and we're going to open up for Q&A. I think, if I'm not mistaken, these guys, this was really jam-packed. We were on a tight schedule, if you didn't notice. We wanted to get all this information across. Matt's keeping us in chat. Go for it, Matt.
Thank you. Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. So we're going to open up the floor for Q&A for the next 17 minutes until 20 minutes after, depending on where you are. And I do invite you to ask anything. We have done 3 webinars now. They've all been absolutely jam-packed. And this is going to be our last free series. So now is your opportunity to ask Divi or myself or Brian anything about the past weeks. If anyone has anything.
Or if you want coaching or something going on for you, or you feel stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of it. We can deal with it. We got our psychic gifts on. We're good to go. Yeah, Xenia.
Hi, I'll keep it super quick, but the pattern that I noticed for myself as I start meeting new people and looking in the dating opportunities is that I'm completely petrified of, so I'm fine first meeting, second meeting, third meeting, and then I feel like if I give something, then I would just owe everything. And no one's asking me for it. And I realized looking back that no one really wanted that incredible devoted commitment the way I provided it. So it's kind of hilarious, but just like I freeze not knowing what to do, because I want it, but I don't want to give too much, but then no one's asking. So I kind of start to piece it together, but how do I navigate this piece? Thank you.
So what I'm getting, I'll hop in first, and I know Brian and Matt have stuff too. What I'm seeing, Xenia, is I would look at the unconscious pattern that I think you get from your grandmother's side, on your mom's side, that says after not even after the third or fourth date, but then you have to almost, use the words, prove your worth. I keep seeing that, or like show how much you can be of service to them or something like that. And so you're like, and so that, it feels like that shadow or that energy kicks in. And that's where you're going to want to pause and go, what is this? And it's just very thin, but it's there. And as you start to look at that, and they're also saying, ask her what she gets. I don't know why they kept saying she's got to have some good sex and roll around the bed and have some fun and stop taking it so seriously. I'm going to hand off. How is that sitting, Zinni, before I hand to Brian?
Oh yeah, I'm just laughing here. It's all so true.
Like that's a very thin fascial layer that I'm seeing. Very thin, hon. Very thin, but it's up that lineage. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then you go, now I want you to flip it and go, and this isn't meant to sound selfish, but what about me? That's what I keep hearing. What about me? Because that's women, and men do it too. It's about giving to them. And you and I are very similar this way. But it's like, wait a second. Where's my orgasm? Sorry, guys. What do I get from this? So, Brian, Matt, do you want anything?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. So it sounds like a bit of a fear of like giving too much and not getting in return. Is that right, Dina?
Actually, no, because I actually got so good at receiving that I started receiving right away, and I received pretty awesome stuff. So I think it's just me not knowing where the border is, because I don't want that serious, quote unquote. I want that fun. But my pattern from my grandma, and I think I know that this is from my great grandma, is that I need to prove my worth. So maybe then one day I can be loved. So yeah, something like that.
I have it too.
Totally. I think the thing that always comes to me, which, I mean, maybe you've tried this, but is really speaking to this. And as much as weird as that may seem, it's like, oh, what am I going to say that I have this pattern and this and that and blah blah blah, and really give the description. But there's a lot of power in that, and if a man is able to receive that, that says a lot. If he's able to say, oh, well, thank you so much for explaining, this thing that's going on inside of you. There would be a curiousness, there would be a presence, and there is I imagine, a natural fear of like, well, what if I show this and they don't like me, or they don't accept me, or they don't receive me? But there's so much power in letting a man in on your process.
So beautiful, Brian.
Thank you. Yeah, I will try to do that.
Sometimes we get caught in our head thinking, I have to do all these things in order to be this person. You're already everything. And yeah, there's no like right or wrong way to date people. I think people like, they're like, oh, I can't say this or I can't say that, or this isn't allowed. You get to make up the rules, and you get to set the standard for how you want to talk to people and what you want to be shared and all that stuff. So yeah, stand in your power, and like what Divi said, like get what you need and find a man who's going to provide that for you, because that is the divine masculine, to a sense, like knowing how powerful you are and how amazing his life can be when he is showing up in that present way.
So well said.
Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? Just want to make sure you've answered all questions. Oh wait, there's something. Can I read? I'll read Andy's. He writes, I've had feedback given to me that I'm often hard on myself, which I find to be true, which creates and sometimes unrealistic expectations for both myself and other people. I don't want to completely let this piece of me go, since I do find value in being ambitious, but it is an issue when I don't recognize I'm burnt out, so I refuse to admit it. And also place unrealistic expectations on people, which isn't the best formula for building strong relationships. Curious if anyone's had the same experience and have any impact on how to balance this. Matt, you're nodding your head up and down.
Yeah, and take lead on this one for sure.
Okay, go for it.
So yeah, Andy, thanks for sharing this. I've definitely grappled with this one, and I get the, like, there is a little bit of a beauty in it, and the beauty is that you have high expectations of yourself. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with having high expectations of yourself. What happens though is we begin to project our caliber of standard for ourselves onto other people. And if you're a hyper performing person, that means that now you're holding the planet, the world, to your standard of performance. And then that's just completely lacking in compassion. And most oftentimes you're not living up to that level of performance, your own standard. And then that comes with this fear, shame, guilt, negative self-deprecating talk. And then that also gets projected onto people. And so I think like the big thing is that I've like experienced is this can lead to like action paralysis. I feel like that might be similar to Xenia as well. It leads to analysis paralysis. It leads to thinking instead of doing. And sometimes what's the best with these is to just do it. Like just do it and then just go see what happens and take the data. The performing until you're burnt out syndrome oftentimes comes from, in my experience, from father. from the father, like not saying he's proud of you, not saying that he loves you, not showing up, maybe not being there. And so you perform to get that approval. And so really just grounding in that awareness, and then having like compassion for these people that you're trying to see, because ultimately you don't want the person to be just like you anyways. That's not really what we want. We want the personality traits to line up, and we want our values to line up, but you don't want the person to be like you anyways. And so yeah, that's what I would say. You know, like, it seems to me what's coming through is that you may not be crystal clear on what you desire in a partner. And so you're just kind of projecting these unrealistic high expectations on yourself and on the world around you. And so what really, really can help, a practice you can do, is like really sit down and think, like, if I came home from work, what would I want my person to be doing? Right? Would you want them to be blasting more expectations on you like you do to yourself? Or would you want them to be chill and like maybe just watching a movie or doing something? Is that what you want to be pulled into? Yeah, so that's what came through. That's what came through for me.
You wrote an interesting comment back. It's one thing to say that you're proud of yourself, but another thing to feel it. Curious to know how you've crossed the boundary to simply telling yourself versus feeling it. It's a great question, and I know that's something we'll address in the 16 weeks. But go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, that's like probably an entire lesson that we'll go over within our 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Actually, this is as implications on relationships too, i.e. telling someone it's okay versus actually feeling it and empathizing. Yeah, Brian, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I think without going it too deeply, Andy, and what I was going to say before is, when these types of like finding balance questions come in, usually what I see is a necessity for us to ask ourselves, what are we defining as success? How are we defining balance? How are we defining anything? And if we haven't gone deep enough, usually there is an influence from outside as to what productive is, what successful is, what good is, what bad is. So when it comes to balance, we don't have to, we have this choice to figure out what that is for us, define it, and then and like Matt said, live into it and act. That's where the feeling comes from. It's when you've really defined it and you've acted into that, and then you've earned that feeling. You're like, okay, I know what this feels like because I created the process, and you become the creator of that whole experience and process. So I think like some questioning of yourself and being like, what standards am I creating? Are these things really important to me? Do I actually want to live in this way? These types of things, and then acting those ways that you perceive in your mind. And then I think the feeling becomes easier because it came from you. It didn't come from some idea from someone else.
Andy, I'll just add also that it is something that I think, like Matt said, it's a whole class in itself. So I know we're going to cover this in 16 weeks because it is probably the biggest thing that we project on each other, that we're not enough, right? And it's like massive. And I think it's actually going to take more than one class that I just saw instead of trickling the whole thing, because I'm with you, Andy. Being raised like I was raised, very academic and stuff like that, the standards were like through the roof, right? And problem for me, Andy, is if I didn't reach those standards, I couldn't move out. So moving out was very important to me. So it was like, it's understanding that it's taken me years, and it's an ongoing process to like knock those down and not project them to my partner or my kid. So just play with us over the 16 weeks. We will move through it because it's something that can feel your heart and solar plexus are ready to open and release. Just exciting. There's another question that came in about the difference between the inner child and the divine self. So the answer to that question from my standpoint is, the inner child is a wounded part of us. So if this is our timeline, an event or trauma occurs in our childhood, say abandonment, and a traumatized part of us is over here, like an inner child. And when I'm mad at my husband, I become my, traumatized little girl. Versus my divine self is the energy of unconditional love that can heal that little girl. The divine self is the unconditional love that is everything. So yeah, and there's a whole lesson on that too, because healing your inner child and holding divine love. If you talk to Xenia, she studied with me for a long time. It's a journey that's like really and Kimber studied with me for a long time. It's something that just kind of happens the more you study this work, the more you're around the three of us. It just kind of happens would be the answer I would say to you. But if you give us the time, we'll take you there. So.
Yeah. So I see you, Ming, but Eric, did you have something you wanted to ask? You had your hand up earlier. And we got 5 minutes.
I knew you were going to say that. I was waiting for that.
This one makes me kind of nervous to talk about, so I'm gonna try my best. But I'm not currently in a relationship, but throughout everything in my past and the people I've met, probably up until this point, one thing I could never figure out is how to express and give my love, because anyone that I ever have has received it, but then it gets to a certain point where like I'm only just good enough to be a friend. So much so that I've like actually had encounters, like I've had relationships with people who became my friends, but then those friends like were the ones that ended up being together, and this has happened numerous times. So like, so for me, like it was just always a vicious cycle of beating myself up with being like, when I'm in my good place and being happy and playful, Eric, you know, like you're just supposed to be yourself and everything. But I could never figure out why I was never like, I felt like I was never romantic enough or enough, never enough to actually like be that, like be someone, like a one for someone else. And I think that really like, you know, it really fudged me up. Like, and so it's just sort of like trying to find this balance of being myself and then also, you know, like, you know, trying to do the homework involved with, you know, trying to figure out what it is. So I get lost in that. So it's just, it's a lot of looking out and seeing other situations, but can't really figure out my own. So I'm a little bit all over the place with this, but I just kind of wanted to share that. So that's that.
Thanks, Eric. I can speak on that a little bit. Again, I feel like this is going to be another full class, because that's something that, like, what happens when you love someone and they don't love you back again and again and again and again. I get that. I've been there for sure. And I don't have like a direct answer for you because we only got like 2 more minutes. However, I can say that for me, whenever I've gone through those experiences, as tough as they've been, they have like caused me to like strive for betterment, I suppose. And so while I don't have like an answer for that directly, I can in hindsight recognize that it has always served me. So that's all that I've got personally for that. Yeah.
I'll just add 2 seconds.
No, you go, Divi.
Like 2 minutes, because I know we're on time. Eric, it's really an opportunity of, I know this is going to annoy you, deeper self-love. There's something in me that's got a little bit of a wound that needs some polishing. And when I find that wound, which I guarantee, like I 1,000% guarantee you're going to find it in 6 weeks, like no question at all. They're showing me, yep, we're going to find it. And when he polishes that and learns to, they're showing a picture of a crystal. When I polish that citrine, which is the solar plexus crystal, and he finds it for himself, then the universe is going to reflect it. Universal law of correspondence. We work on universal laws a lot because relationships are all about that. It's coming in as a reflection for me. So Eric, trust me, like they're showing me the number 1,000, which I never see. 1,000%, you're going to see the wounding in you, which I have too, and so does Matt, so does Brian. And then once you polish it, your relationships outside will change. I think all 3 of us have experienced that. Is that fair? Yeah. Cool. Hope that helped. I know that was a quick answer, but yeah, we're going to get there. And then Min, right?
Right. We'll move on to Ming now for our final one. We're going to go a couple minutes over. 7. We'll go to 22 minutes after. You're up, Ming. You're muted, brother.
It makes me laugh.
Oh, Brian was right. It was the most common said phrase. Yeah, I just want to add, like, I've been doing some men's work recently and like some writing, creative writing, just like digging deep into my childhood. And the reason I ask a question is because after a certain point, like I feel like this inner child, like the one that's been hurt by the world, betrayed. But I keep digging in, like I keep digging to a point before the child was hurt.
Right.
And then I found this feeling of almost complete unconditional self-love for myself, like a belief in the world, like everything will be all right. Even when I'm hurt the first time, I don't care. But it's like the constant beating and the stress and like all the time people just abuse me, take me as a scapegoat, is eventually that it becomes the breaking point. So when you said the divine self, I feel like it's like the divine. Sometimes like I heard this phrase from Japan, like when a child is born, like this, that is when she or the closest to the divine.
Yes.
And it feels a lot like that. Like now a child is like born naturally divine until it breaks open by the world.
100%.
And like that's why you see around. Like,
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just got this phrase from like healthy selfishness. Like people are naturally selfish in a good way, like this reserved way that they have empathy, but they also have like unconditional belief in themselves that they will succeed in the world without actually hurting other people. But it's when the constant, I guess, hurt from the world that comes in that is actually it becomes this narcissistic self because they feel like they have to keep fighting the war for it. Yeah.
All right, 40 seconds. I'm going to say something super quickly. And for me, when I hear you saying that, what I keep thinking of is that like we all come from a tiny little microscopic seed. And in that seed is unlimited potential because humans can do anything. They can go to the moon. They can do heart surgery. They've done mind-blowing things in the past little bit. And so in that seed, and when you're born, you have unlimited potential. You can literally do anything based off of that. And so that in that moment is the divine self. And then, and then our parents traumatize it. But to put a little, I guess, like a little laughter on that. But yeah, so definitely another thing. And guys, thanks for bringing these things up because at the end of this, not yet, Bay's going to be dropping some links in here and we're going to be sending you out of forms for you to complete so we can actually talk about some of these things that you want us to talk about. And today you've given us probably 4 or 5 of the topics that we're going to be talking about. And so quickly, we're going to run through a couple different questions. I'm going to ask some, Divi's going to ask some, Brian's going to ask some. We're probably going to go a couple minutes over. That's okay. And just quickly, in these 3 series that you've been on, and maybe from tonight it'll be most prevalent, but out of the whole series, quickly, just in the chat, type what has been your favorite thing that you've learned or the favorite experience you've gone through. What was like the most impactful thing? And just quickly, we don't need a full story for it, but just, it could be like, what was it? When was that one with you, Sarah? Episode 2 or something? When I was chatting with you, something like that. Episode 2, this blew my mind.
Marina wrote, "This has been amazing, Katina. Thank you for helping me see the light and to feel it too. Love you 3. Love it." She's the only one who had something to share. What do you guys got? I'm teasing. What do you guys got? What's the one thing that you'll go, oh yeah, I remember that. For me, it was the meditations tonight. Like the solar plexus. Having space held, guided experience. Thanks, Lena. Awesome.
All right, and at the top of the minute here, Divi's going to do some simpler prompts. Vulnerability is the currency of relationships, and being a witness is powerful and healing in itself. Yeah, it is. Thanks for bringing your witness and healing to the container, Tiana.
So I'm going to push you guys. Oh, so great.
Having to face my trauma and feeling all the things that led me to realize that I need to accept what was and embrace what is and what's to come. Awesome. That's incredibly powerful. Thank you, Mara.
What happened there?
Oh,
I lost.
Well, we can hear you and see you still. Oh.
So my
Sense
question.
of safety and care that you provided. I felt much healing. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. We're gonna switch over to Divi now. She's gonna do some real quick responses.
Mine are really easy. Mine's a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. Okay. Scale, and everyone's gonna type in the answer, including Brian and Matt. Scale of 1 to 10. How helpful have the webinars been? Go. 1 to 10. How helpful have they been?
Yes.
What are you guys getting? What are the numbers?
10, 10, 10, and 10 after that. And then after that one was another 10.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and another 10. And there we go. There's a 10.
Okay. Okay, question number 2. Scale of 1 to 10. Go inside your heart. Don't think. Go into your heart. Close your eyes. Go into your heart. Scale of 1 to 10. How much do you want your relationships in your life to improve? What do you guys got?
Oh, we got a 10 followed by a 10. 19 from Sarah.
Okay.
Got a 10,000 from Andy.
Oh,
yes,
Andy. I know. Just give you a hard time.
19. Oh,
For 9,000.
Okay. All right. One more question. I love simple questions. Close your eyes, go into your body. You guys have only had us for 3 hours. And we jam-packed these webinars, jam-packed. That's Matt's fault. We jam-packed these webinars. My last question, close your eyes. If you apply these skills and more to your life, scale of 1 to 10, how much will your relationships improve? 10 being high, 1 being low. 10 test improvement, 11, 10. But I need you to do the work. I'm with you, Mara. Me and you together.
Me too.
Me too. 10. Yeah. Good. Awesome.
11.
Guys. 11. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, guys. Off to Brian in a second.
Yeah,
10, but I need you to do the work. Yeah. Brian.
Amazing, everyone. So yeah, the question that I have for you, I would love to hear or have you type it in the chat is, what is the most important thing for you to accomplish in your relationships right now? For example, to find a partner, or to have less fights with my partner, or to heal my inner child, or oh, sorry, was that quiet? You guys hear me all right there? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Sometimes I forget to I gotta get one of your fancy mics, Matt. It's so fancy. Yeah, so what is the thing that you want to accomplish most in your relationships right now? Because it's a big topic, right? Lots of things to do with relationships. Trade the sense of urgency and alert for peace. Oh, I love that. Mara says to find a partner that's also vulnerable and willing to communicate. Beautiful. Andy says properly reparent myself. Yes, love reparenting.
Tiana's, oh my God, talk the best version of myself to the world.
Oh, that's, yeah, wow.
To heal myself, become whole with the divine self. He has the answers to everything. Oh, talk my language.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Apply the law of one. Sarah, oh, I love that. See the divine. Heal and love myself. Yes, Kimber.
Wow.
Communicate, self-regulate, keep my instant reactions to a quiet place. Nice, Marina.
Wow. Okay, so this is yeah, we got some. This is a juicy question that leading up to this. So, you might find it difficult, but do your best here. There's no right or wrong. But how much is it worth to you to have that? Put a price point on it for a moment. It might be priceless, but I'm just curious. If someone were to say, "Hey, I have this," how much would you pay for that?
Are we allowed to type in the answer?
Yeah. A million.
That's a lot of zeros, Matt. Megan, that's way too many zeros.
We hit the same number, Divi.
Every penny in my name. Yeah.
Every penny in my name. Wow, Mara. Wow. No price on this one. Yeah, Marina. I don't want Bay typed. I'm teasing Bay. Priceless. Yeah.
That's beautiful, everyone.
Nice. It's everything. I can't put a price on it. It's the difference between heaven and hell. Oh, Sarah.
Whoa.
Yes. Sarah.
I agree.
Sister. Talking my language. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for those very encapsulating questions, Brian. Yeah, I hadn't thought about putting a price on these types of things. So during our love, trust, trauma containers, you can expect a lot more embodiment practices from Brian. It's been next to impossible for myself or Divi or Brian to really showcase what we're bringing to the table in these blitzkrieg webinar series that we've done, although we've done our best. And you can expect a lot more embodiment practices like the one Brian took you all through today. You can expect a lot more insights from me. I've got a whole bunch of knowledge up here that I'm just ready to share. And you can expect a lot more deep dives from Divi, where she does what she does and takes you to places that you didn't even know you needed to go. You're going to be in the Grand Canyon. You're going to be chilling with your grandma. It's going to be awesome. Different topics that you can expect. This is just a small list. We got 4 or 5 today. One is energy attracts energy. How to prepare yourself for attracting what you desire. The 4 horsemen of relationships. It's from the Gottman Institute. What is compassionate parenting? Your relationship to what's called life force energy. A pretty substantial series that we've designed called Inner Child Resolution. That's not just one class. That's potentially a month's worth, if not more. Another one followed after that, which is Mother Wound and Father Wound. Again, that's not just going to be one class, but you can expect us to be diving deep into that. And another one that we wanted to share is relationship to your future self.
Yeah.
Within our container that we're going to be running, we're going to be doing something called office hours. If you've worked with Divi before, you're going to be familiar with this. If not, Divi will explain a little bit about office hours and why they're so powerful.
So office hours, I run them in almost all my containers. They're a way for you to get one-to-one coaching. So you saw me work with Xenia. I've worked with Xenia a long time. I love Xenia and I love Sarah and I love all you guys. But one of my main gifts, and Brian and Matt and I met in a retreat in Mexico. One of the big things I bring is intuition. And I see pictures for a living. That's what I do. And I can go right to the heart of things. So in the office hours, if you'll get a lot of one-to-one, like Matt always says, if you're vulnerable. Now, if let's say, Tiana, I'm not saying it's going to be you, but your name is poking out at me. But if Tiana's like, I've got this really private thing that I don't want to share with the group, you go, Tiana types in, Brian, I want to talk to you. So Brian and Tiana are going to go to a private room and get some private coaching. Got it? Or whoever you choose, Tiana, you don't have to choose somebody, but that's a way for each of us to get coaching. And the biggest thing I find in office hours is that universal law of one, like Sarah was talking about, I learned from coaching you guys. I learned from teaching each of you to my life. So universal law of one, you will learn by watching all 3 of us. We all coach differently, but similarly. You'll get a lot of one-to-one and a lot of coaching to application to your life, which is everything, right? So yeah, that's what office hours are. They're fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Divi. And now our final question, and this is as much for market research as it is for you to really think about it, is at this point, like right now, what is stopping you from moving forward into our relationship container right away, if anything? A few of you on here have already signed up for it, so obviously this question isn't for you, but as of right now, what is stopping you? Money. Just one little dollar sign? Don't go a whole bunch. Oh, like, thanks, Mara. Thanks, guys. Money, and I have a trip planned for summer.
Okay.
Perfect. To be expected. Money and in transition. Yep.
Got it.
Good. It's to be expected.
Yeah.
This is yep.
I'm going to speak to the money thing just for a quick sec. Money and time and energy. I don't want to overcommit. I get that, Andy. I get it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not going to speak to it. You speak to mine. Something not.
I only need one kidney, right? You do only need one, technically. Yeah, I'll take the other one.
Maybe.
Awesome. Okay, now final thing here is Bae is going to drop some links in here. One is the to the forums. Please fill out the forums. This is going to help us design this program specifically for you and everyone that gets involved. And the other one is so you can check out what we're doing and join our container. Do want to remind people, and we have had a handful of people sign up. I'm not sure how many are left, but the first 15 people that sign up do get a individual one-on-one personal coaching container with either Brian, myself, or Divi selected at random. And so, yeah, please open up these 2 links on your browsers. And then we're just going to do a quick 1 to 2 minute or longer breath grounding to wrap up this. It has been absolutely amazing. Yeah, 1 minute.
One small thing. Can I say
yeah,
one
you
small
can.
thing? I promise it'll be short. Around the money conversation, for people who typed in, this has helped me massively. I say to my guides, because my guides are saying, take this course. I'm like, where do I get it? And I say to my guides, this is the deal I have with them. If you're going to make me take this course, then you're going to give me the money back. It always works. Always, guys, always. So if they want you to transform your codependency, your pain body, your trauma, you say to them, fine, You give me the $200 or I'll put this on my credit card, but you guarantee me I'm going to get the same amount or 2 times or 4 times back. You make that contract in self-development, it will happen. I can tell you for the last 20 something years, it's been my contract and it always works. I just want to share that. Whether you take this class or not, I'm not attached, but I want you to know that contract works. Just FYI. Go ahead, Brian.
That's so powerful. Thank you so much for that. Super, super powerful. All right, everybody. Thank you for your attention, your presence, and your willingness. Let's close this container together with just a little bit of breath, a little bit of gratitude. So let's shut down the eyes like we did before. Let's come to that space within that is so familiar, so safe, so beautiful. I invite you to take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Let's take another deep breath in. And just let it go. Now I invite you to place your hands where it feels authentic to you. And if this feels authentic, you can place your hands on your heart, your hands on your abdomen, and hold the body. And this is very simple but very profound. As you gently breathe, just inviting in that feeling of gratitude. We all know what it feels like. And as it starts to pour in, as the heart opens, first thank yourself for showing up for this session, the previous sessions, and every day showing up in this process of really learning how to love. That's what we're here to do. Thanking your body for its power and its beauty, the medium in which you get to experience this world. I've heard that beings in the higher dimensions are somewhat envious of us in the third dimension. We get to taste and feel and see and hear. It's taking a moment to feel into the beauty and technology of your vessel. And as that gratitude and that love starts to fill you up like a cup and the overpouring begins, let the overpour move into the container, coming into recognition that this is a co-creation. We did this together. You can see the faces of the other humans that were in the container with you, offering that love, seeing yourself within them. We are one. Just letting the love pour in for a moment longer. Coming into recognition that this is what there is. We are in the process of a return to love. And what a beautiful process it is. Share one more breath to close. I invite you to take that deep, nourishing breath in. And as you exhale, just release, surrender. Thank you all so much for showing up. It's been an honor to feel all of your presence, to get to know you all a little bit better, and to share this experience with you. When you feel ready, you can gently open those beautiful eyes of yours. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys so much. You're the best.
Thank you very
So,
much.
sending you so much love. We'll see a lot of you guys in May 2nd.
Yeah.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
all y'all
guys.
on May 2nd. Whoever's joining
All
us.
right, guys.
Awesome.
I see you.
Big
Bye,
love, guys.
guys.
You do that.
Bye.